What's up, guys, and welcome back to a very special episode of Watch It in Action. I'm BouseFeenux, and what I mean by that is I wanted to take a few seconds to really thank you guys. I've done a lot of things in my life, and I've really given up on a lot of them, and not to get feelsy on you here, some of you may be rolling your eyes, but I started content creation a little while ago, and recently here, this YouTube channel has just grown so much. I've been streaming on Twitch for a while now, but the amount of growth that we've experienced over the past couple weeks has just been totally staggering to me. Your guys' support with visiting the website, your guys' support with commenting, liking, subscribing, all these videos, and it's just, sometimes when I log in and I read your guys' comments, it's just a little overwhelming sometimes. The things you guys say and the support you've been offering has just been fantastic. So I wanted to let you guys know that if no one else out there appreciates you, BouseFeenux appreciates you. I really, really appreciate you guys. You've been phenomenal. Now, mushy stuff aside, let's move on to this badass weapon here. Like I said, today we're covering the Atomos, and this is basically just a giant cookie jar that someone weaponized and modified to basically shoot out a giant molten beam of slag. One thing I really like about this weapon is its ridiculous fire rate and its ability to arc to targets and clear out whole rooms. It's like if the Amprex were a flamethrower almost, and it's a secondary. I mean, what's not to love, right? So I put together a build for you guys, and let's go ahead and take a look at that. So noticing right here at the top, we're just going to start up here real quick. You'll see that it takes 4 Forma to put this build on. If you look at the polarities, some of you, your eyes may be bleeding a little bit by seeing this D pull here, but it's necessary. It actually saves you a lot of resources if you keep this, and that's the only build I will ever say this on, unless they change D polarity to something that's useful. But I kept this here because we're going to be using all 4 elemental mods, and we'll cover that here in a second, but if you were to polarize this to something else, you'd pretty much just be wasting a Forma, in my opinion. At least with this build. Some of you may have other builds, but this is the one that I've chosen to use here. So, moving from the top here, we've got Barrel Diffusion, which is going to, of course, give us multi-shot, which is always really nice. You want that on pretty much every weapon we're going to be using. Hornet Strike is just going to increase our overall damage. That 220% extra damage is super nice, and it's pretty much necessary. Lethal Torrent here is going to increase our fire rate and multi-shot, which, interesting thing about fire rate on beam weapons, real quick, is that actually increases this status per second stat right here. So, the faster the fire rate you have on a beam weapon, the higher your status per second is going to be. This mod right here is called Ruinous Extension, and some of you may have picked this up and not really noticed it, but chances are you probably have one of these laying around somewhere. If you don't, just check the wiki and see where to get it, because I can't think of where to get it off the top of my head. But Ruinous Extension actually extends the range of this beam weapon, and by doing that, we increase the amount of targets that we can arc the beam to, which is super, super nice. Gives us a lot of crowd control options there. And then just down here, we have our 90% elemental mods, which are pretty awesome. I mean, we've got Heated Charge, Deep Freeze, Convulsion, Pathogen rounds, and you can swap these around for, just about any elemental combo that you want just by changing the spots here. You notice we change it, we get Gas and Magnetic. We change this one, we get Radiation and Viral, etc. So, and then we go back to Blast and Corrosive. So you can move those around as you want. Honestly, I've played with this build a lot, and I haven't really found anything that I would change about it. If you guys want to go more status, that's okay. I feel like this weapon has plenty of status procs as it is. But I could talk about this build all day, but I really want to show you here real quick. Now, you saw a little bit of this weapon in action in the B-roll footage here, but I want to show you in a controlled environment against some enemies here. We're going to use some chargers, actually, today, instead of our little corrupted dudes. So, we'll select these guys, we'll put them at level 90, make them pretty tough, and then go to it. So, I'm using Ember, and this weapon does innately fire damage, so you're going to be getting a lot of fire procs with this weapon, which makes it very effective against our infested friends here. The one big plus to this weapon is if you use it with Ember, it becomes that much more powerful. I have a Accelerant build here, World on Fire, and it accentuates Accelerant a little bit, and you can find that on my website at BouseFeenux.com. But check this out. So we'll go ahead and use this. It stuns the enemies, makes them more vulnerable to the already massive amount of fire damage we're doing, and you can just cut right through them like they're nothing. Notice, too, how the beam jumps from target to target. It actually creates like a small bridge between them, and as you can see, in no time, we pretty much destroyed all those guys. I mean, they were chumps compared to what this weapon could dish out. Now, this weapon kind of does fall off a little bit in late game, seeing as it's primarily just a pure damage weapon and doesn't really, there's no status or crit to make it scale very well. But that being said, if you use the right Warframe with the right powers, I mean, you can take this weapon with you pretty much anywhere. But that being said, guys, that's the Atomos. That's my little, thing on it. Check out the build. Let me know in the comments if you guys have done anything else that you like with it or have anything else that you recommend. Also, I want to let you guys know, a lot of you have been asking for my color schemes and my fashion frames and how I color everything. BouseFeenux.com has now a full page, a whole section of the website is devoted to just fashion frames. So you can go and you can see my color schemes as well as the winners of the previous fashion frames contest. So every Wednesday I have a fashion frame stream, and basically it's a contest where you guys can come in and enter, and I choose a top 5, and then the chat votes on the winner, and the winner gets platinum, and they get featured on the website for a week. So think about that. Come visit the Twitch stream on Wednesdays around, 2:30, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, and chances are you can find us doing fashion frames. But that's it for this video, guys. Like I said before, thank you so much for your awesome support, and I will see you at the next one.